3 years ago, we bought this 1.5 acre abandoned farm in Portugal. Our dream to turn it into an edible garden is really coming true. We're Meraid and Dan, and this is the story of all that we got up to on the garden over the last year. You know that old saying about plants? The first year they sleep, the second year they creep, and the third year they leap. Well, it feels like that is exactly what's happening. A beautiful abundance in our third year. Oh, looks juicy. We created a new garden.
Well, that is absolutely beautiful, Dan.
A home, we hoped, for butterflies, bees and birds to feed. We planted roses, buddleias, rosemary and lavender, transplanted cardoons, Californian poppies and other seedlings from around the land. We added a path using cardboard and pine bark from the local woodyard to make a cosy home for the insects and more organic matter for the soil. The butterflies came, the bees too, and the birds fed on big juicy caterpillars munching on the fennel fronds. So please join me in a little flashback of what it looked like when we first bought the property and how it is now. Isn't it amazing?
This bit of land here, we call it the triangle. It's got quite a slope on it, So I'm going to make some mini terraces, use some of the motor logs we've got lying around, wood chip from the olive tree that we've pruned just here, make some small vegetable growing beds that are close to the house, easy to keep an eye on, easy to water, and because they're small, they're nice and manageable. It's never a daunting task to weed or plant a small bed. We took these logs out of the house last week, and let's go and see how they fit. It will be the first one. I've got a big pile of wood chip here. Sorry, not wood chip, branches to turn into wood chip. I want to fill up the paths on the little mini terraces I've made on our triangle. I'm going to put a bit of compost on the new bed, or one of the new beds. Meraid's got some things to plant in here.
Oh, it looks lovely, thank you.
Straight.
Good enough.
I've turned this unused little triangle of land into a small collection of mini terrace vegetable beds so we can keep on growing more vegetables nearby.
For the first 2 years, we supplemented our homemade compost with bought compost. It really wasn't as good as our homemade compost, and this year we were determined to build the biggest heap we could using goat manure that Dan helps clear out from Carlos's goat shed.
All of this old potato, dead potato plants, weeds, etc. into the compost pile. I'm going to cover them over with what's already there and let it do its thing. This year it's going a lot hotter. We've got more moisture in it, we've got a bigger pile, so we're hopeful we're going to get some very good quality weed-free compost. We're on a planting mission this afternoon. I got my bolt-on dreadlocks, got this big box here full of big asparagus crowns. I'm just raking back some of the bark here, where we got a bit enthusiastic with the wood chip, or the pine bark rather. Taking some of this ash from one of our burn piles of the brambles that we can't wood chip, and this will help with nutrients in the soil and the alkalinity of the soil. So we save all the ash from our fireplace and put it on all the vegetable gardens. Light sprinkler compost on here, so we're not putting the asparagus crowns directly onto the ash.
Look at that. That one's got buds, breaking bud. So we've got to spread these out like a mutant octopus. 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14 or 15.
They're slightly showing because we've got all this earth to put back on. It may have been a lot of work, but this asparagus bed is going to last for many, many years.
Well, it's been a few days since Dan and I looked at the asparagus, and you know what? He's not here today. So I've made a fish pie for tonight's dinner. And I think it would be nice with a bit of asparagus. There we go. Oh, that would be nice. Proud moment.
There's a good space here, close to the vegetable garden, right next to the vegetable garden, for expanding our vegetable growing. I will make a bark path around this lot, just to keep the weeds in there a bit longer. It's ready for some compost and some mulch and planting into. When the straw is used, that will become the next bed to prepare. So I've got some chilies, some peppers and a few courgettes to plant today. Let's give them a good dose of water. Although it's threatening rain today, I don't think it's going to be very much. So there we have it, another bed nearby to grow vegetables in. Today we filled in the swale with pine bark that will soak up the moisture and stop this from getting waterlogged. It also provides a fantastic path for us to walk along just here.
The late autumn rains triggered the mushroom season. We picked parasols and porcini. Wow. And a late melon, which wasn't worth eating.
You carry that. Oh my goodness, that was a double. This'll just be dried.
Dan cooked fresh parasols while I tried the boletes by the fireside.
Well, this little bunch of sorry looking flowers are Crocus sativus, which is the saffron crocus. I'll admit it's not the most exciting looking planting ever.
Seven deciduous broadleaf trees. We've got 2 red oak, 1 wild hazel, native walnut or a wild walnut, a Tilia cordata, and 2 European ash trees.
We've also planted some liquid amber, and from what I've seen, these trees can grow into quite substantial trees within 10 years. So we're planting this tree here. That'll be the royal we, Dan doing the digging and me holding the tree. And it's a really special tree. It's called Pera de São Bartolomeu. It produces little pears, tiny little pears that are dried and look like little cured hams, presentinhos de Viseu. And they're neither ham nor are they from Viseu.
The seating area over here. Planted more trees. Fig.
I've got a prepared empty bed just here, so I'm going to plant some broad beans. I'm going to get 3 rows in here. I'm planting them about 3/4 of an inch deep and about 4 to 6 inches apart. There is a lot of rain forecast for tomorrow. I even had a weather warning sent to me on my phone.
Apricot tree planted 2 years ago. That high. Now look.
I'm going down to the lower part of the land to plant this chestnut. There's more moisture over this part of the terrace. Over that side, over to my right, is much drier. You can see how it is brown over there, and over here it is green. Well, I've got a pretty big hole here for the chestnut, the sweet chestnut. It does have quite a substantial amount of root on it, so we need to allow the roots to spread out.
$112 or 121, I can't remember which it was, but we'll still have to water in the tree.
finished the plant?
Yes.
Right, give it another wee slap. There, it's coming now. Oh, that's going to need a knife to split those roots.
Heel in there, John. So the green gage we just planted was in a pot. We thought it was a bit too early in the season to get bare root trees. However, when we went to the market yesterday, we discovered they did have bare root green gages. So now we'll have 2 green gages. And you can see how the roots on this tree are much freer and they're not pot bound. And we'll see how the bare root does versus the one grown in a pot. We're going to replant this over where we put the Japanese crabapple and the physalis. I'm just going to slice this Bocking 14 comfrey into 2 pieces. All you actually need for this is a little bit of the roots and it will regrow.
We used everything we could get our hands on to cover beds, build berms, and surround young trees.
Help build up the soil here, help stop the water from running down the hill so much.
We made use of plant material, hay, and even straw from an old mattress that was in the house.
You can push.
Yeah. Maybe not the most comfortable bed, but I still have to check for the gold.
Sadly, there was no cash stuffed inside the mattress.
It's like a jungle up here.
You might have noticed this wisteria shrunk in size during the time lapse. Well, that's because he has no manners.
a little bit of inside work in between the rain showers.
So good to see the rain.
I'm going to have some coffee and taste the Church of Keller.
Thank you. Oh, that's good. That looks fab. What do you think?
It's as I remember it. "20 metres of fence in a day."
Yeah. All because
Thank you, James.
of
Thank you, Maggie.
No
What a fantastic day's work.
being very satisfying.
Yeah, very good.
Little by little, the second terrace took shape. And by spring, we had a whole new growing space.
Today's job is to cardboard and wood chip around the squash bed. This is going to stop the weeds creeping into the squash bed. It's going to hold the moisture into the ground more, and best of all, it's going to reduce the amount of trimming I've got to do. So I'm going to weed this out, take out the perennial weeds. I'm not going to leave this soil open and bare over the winter. We're going to plant a green manure here.
Now, with our stone house renovation well underway, we hope you'll join us for new garden projects and a place we can finally call home. Thank you, and we'll see you all soon.